Hello and welcome to episode 194 of The Pitcher or the Hitter, the podcast by the M-SABR Dynasty League for the M-SABR Dynasty League. I am Cam,
Sahil.
and man, I really do not want to be doing this right now.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a beautiful day to record an episode. The playoffs are in full swing. Uh, you know, I'm playing this week. Uh, it's a nice 66 degrees outside here right now, sunny, just so beautiful. The sky's blue, the trees are green. It's
Sun is mostly set here.
uh, and,
Um,
I think that accurately describes your season.
Rude. Oh
Space.
my goodness.
You set yourself up for that. You can't do
Man,
that.
I will leave this call.
Fine. I'll record a solo pod. That's fine. I won't edit it. I'll just post it. I'll just post recordings. People can listen to the recordings. They can hear all of our unfiltered thoughts.
You can certainly post an unedited recording that's just you. I bet so many people will listen to it.
Oh, I think they would.
But yes, the season is over. Well, for some teams at least. And yeah, it's just another heartbreaker. The season always just kind of happens this way. It's the curse of Eric. Eric has cursed teams that have beaten him in the playoffs. I I had a playoff matchups and I've had weird voodoo bullshit go against me. And Andrew is the only other person who's beaten Eric, and he had a weird down season after starting out hot that kind of inexplicably took a turn. It's versus Eric. I think we just gotta let Eric win, lest we have misfortune befall our teams.
Yeah. Well, maybe you trade Aaron Judge in the offseason and it reverses the curse.
Maybe I will. I'm in talks as we speak for Aaron Judge. I don't know why, because I don't want to think about this league, but also I'd like to trade Aaron Judge this offseason. I think it'd be helpful to my team if I traded Aaron Judge, and someone out there, if you want Aaron Judge, hit my line.
I think it is time for you to shake things up, and we'll have a bigger postmortem on your team and your off-season plans at some point. But I think maybe it's not the curse of Eric, but maybe your team's just kind of gotten stale.
Stale, that's not a thing.
Mm, I don't know. Sometimes you need to mix things up to get a better result. The definition of what insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
I don't know. I don't, in something as luck driven as this, I don't know, this is the same thing over and over again. But regardless, there's a lot of things to talk about this week. Do we want to begin with my matchup against Ruthvik?
Dealer's choice. I mean, you're the one who.
Let's do it. Let's do it. This was a rare 6-3-3 win for Ruthvik over me. There were, you know, a lot of things that could have shifted it. If I had gotten the quality start finished out by Dylan Cease, or if I had, if Adrian Hauser hadn't given up a bullshit 3-run homer in a minor league park, then I would have tied 4-4-4 and advanced. Or like maybe if I hadn't, burned through a lot of ads early in the week and had been able to um replace Wilson Contreras in my lineup, things would have gone differently. It's just and if Seth Lugo hadn't had his start bumped, uh or moved to the IL, that could have it's just Looking at this, by the way, Andrew took everybody out of his lineup, a la the same way Greg does in hockey, and finished with zeros across the board. That's fun. Um, but yeah, it's always little things like that. If Robert Suarez hadn't gotten a stupid save after someone gave up a run to make it a save situation, final day of last year's regular season, I would have been a finalist. It's yeah. Um, Hard to say what, if anything, needs to change. Ruthvik had a good week. Ruthvik had 10 saves, which I believe is a postseason record. Um, if not, it's certainly close. Yeah, no one ties Andrew's record of 10 saves in a playoff matchup from last year's first round. He hit 22 doubles. He drove in a lot of runs. He drove in the most runs of any playoff team. He scored the second most runs of any playoff team, most strikeouts of any team in the first round, had a, you know, second best ERA of any of the teams that played this week. He would have beaten any of the other three playoff teams. I would have beaten both EBO and Jake. It's just how it goes sometimes. He had a great week, and he's going to be playing you.
Yes, that he is, and so far I've streamed an Otto Lopez hit and stolen base and run, so feeling good so far. Oh, Heriberto Hernandez drove him in, even better. Um, yeah, look, you were kind of dealt a tough hand once Wheeler went down. That really put a strain on your pitching staff. We talked about it last week, right? Like you had maybe the best offense in league history. You led the league in the 5 to 6 roto hitting categories, and you would need your hitting to just keep stepping up and just do enough on the pitching side to win. Uh, it maybe was not the most stable way to win. There's not as many avenues to win as say a team is a little more consistent across the board. But at the same time, I mean, it was such a good offense that, there's no reason to think that, you couldn't just keep that up. Unfortunately, the offense failed you a little bit this week. It was solid, but it wasn't quite at the level that it needed to be. And the pitching did not do enough to compensate for the offensive shortcomings. Um, you know, I that being said, like it still was a pretty solid performance from you overall. Um, you did have some pretty good individual performances. I think you managed this week about as well as you could. I don't really know what much else you could have done to, you know, do better this week and put together a better, result, but that's just how it goes sometimes. And
I had seven relievers go on Sunday, and not one of them got a hold.
yeah, I mean, and that's one of those things that's to some degree a skill issue if you're, not looking at how many days they've pitched in but before and
Oh, I certainly am looking
but
at
yeah,
that.
which is why I'm not suggesting you did. I'm just saying that like that ends up generally being, a luck based thing, I feel like with the holds sometimes. And it's sometimes the luck doesn't go your way. Do you need to shake things up? Maybe a bit, but I mean, you have a very good foundation here, and I know it sucks, and I know you're frustrated that one. You've only made it past the semis like twice, or the first round like twice in the league.
I made it past the first round 3 years in a row, and then I lost in the first round 3 years in a row.
Oh, jeez, I didn't realize that. Okay, uh, that's right, 'cause it was a semis curse for you for a while. I was joking about, and then you made the finals, and then it's a first round curse. Is this 3 straight years of you losing in the first round?
That it is. Um, and this is 2 out of those 3 years. I beat Ruthvik twice in the regular season, then lost to him in the first round.
You lost to him in the first round of the playoffs twice.
I have.
Holy shit. I did not realize that. I knew you lost to me last year. I did not realize that part. I think you were the higher seed each time too, right?
Yep, I've been upset four straight playoff matchups.
Jesus. Well, always next year.
Maybe. Um,
I wish there was more I could say. I know I've been making fun of you, but I do notice, it's really depressing to lose. I still remember how I felt when I lost to Jake a couple years ago, and legitimately, like we had to wait a week to record the podcast because I was so angry and just depressed. It wasn't even anger as much as depression. Um, and I just
yeah, that's what I have too. It's just like and I've said this off mic, but like I don't think I like baseball, man. It's just
oh God.
it's just this every year, and it's the Reds every year, and it's just like this. Why do I do this?
Because you like pain.
I mean, that's like genuinely, I think of sports as pain instead of positive. Like that's what and like that's what the Gallardo Club is in a tongue-in-cheek way, but like
I, it's
that
all your teams have reason for optimism. I mean, it's like, and I get it hasn't happened, but it's gonna happen one of these years. It's the your baseball team cannot be. I feel like statistically, it just has to happen, right? Like the Reds got to
I
get
mean,
it
that's
together one year.
that's what I thought going into this year. Like that was kind of my motto for this year. Statistically, it has to happen.
I mean,
And it's
but that's not a way to build a team, though.
I mean, it's a motto to have when you've built a team that you think is good enough.
I think
And
I think the way you have to look at it is the winning winning a league, no matter the sport, is just ridiculously hard to do, and you just need to put yourself in the best position to win, knowing that it is more likely than not each year that it's not going to happen.
I mean, I've had 6 straight years of being either the second best team in the league or the third best team in the league, uninterrupted, no higher, no lower. That should, I don't know. I don't know. I think, yeah, like statistically, like, like we've had 7 seasons. I think statistically, Erik should have 2 titles, you should have 2 titles, and me, EBO, and Jake should have one each. Like if everything was fair, that would be the distribution of titles. Would you disagree?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's one distribution of titles that it should be like anybody deserves a certain
I
number.
well, should, yeah, should I this is I'm not going to use the word should because that is total sour grapes, but
That
like
you would
that
expect is that what you're trying to?
that's what you expect. That's what you'd expect the distribution would be if based on how well these franchises have played over time and
I
you
I don't expect anything. I don't think that you should come in with an expectation that something's going to happen a certain way. There are plenty of good teams, good players that just never win a ring. It's hard to do. Um, I I will say I'd be curious if you subtracted Erik from the league. I'm curious how many championships. That might be a fun off-season episode. What if Erik wasn't in the league and then the team who like just missed the playoffs made it instead? And how that would affect the playoff
how that
bracket.
would affect.
What?
Yeah, I think that's a fun off-season thing. Yeah, if Erik wasn't in the league, if we had an 11-team league with no Erik, who would what would the playoffs have looked like each of the last several years. I like that.
Yeah, I think we need to. I think it's an off-season episode. I love it.
We can even like go deep with it and say, hey, your team had a bye the week they played Eric in the regular season. How does that change the standings?
I don't know if I go that far. I think as far as I would go would be like, hey, the next team makes it to the playoffs. That adjusts all the playoff seeding. What does it look like?
Fair enough, fair enough. All right, but let's get into how this matchup actually went down. Ruthvik had some great performances. Shea Langoliers hit a couple doubles and stole a base that ended up mattering. Um, Bo Bichette was the best hitter on his team. He scored 6 runs, drove in 7, homered a couple times with a great on base percentage. Stephen
Shout
Kwan,
out to him. He's really rebounded this year. He's gonna get a nice contract this
he might
offseason.
win a batting title.
Yeah, God, he really might.
Yeah, no, he has been good. Stephen Kwan, great week, 5 stolen bases. Um, like he's got all these guys that just like kind of on their own won him the matchup by these little margins. Um, and most of all of those guys is Ryan Nelson, his matchup MVP. The ERA wasn't like the best; it was only 3, but he had the 10 Ks, he had the 2 quality starts, and his quality start that tanked my team on Sunday specifically was what won him the matchup. And just getting those 3 strikeouts, Ryan Nelson has to be matchup MVP. There's no other person who won this matchup more for Ruthvik.
Yeah, I think you never want to hear the word Ron Nelson ever again. I think Ryan Nelson can win 5 straight Cy Youngs, and he could be offered to you for a third round pick, and I think you might turn him down.
Yeah, because lest we forget, I was in person with Greg and Yuki at a Red Sox D-backs game last year. Brian Nelson won Ruthvik a matchup in person against me there as well by having a quality start, a really good quality start. So like, yeah, I don't want to hear about Ryan Nelson ever again. Um, Other than that, there wasn't like Nolan McLean made a good start for him. Um, other than that, his pitching was not that good, starting pitcher wise, but yeah, he just had Ryan Nelson and Bo Bichette were uh did enough to kind of put him over the top.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes. As for my team, I had some really great hitting performances. I would have given matchup MVP to Vlad had I pulled it out because he just had an absurdly good week at 607 OBP, homered twice, scored 8 runs, and stole a base that tied stolen bases. Shout out to Lindor, though. Lindor was fantastic. Wilson Contreras was good before in the couple games before he started to serve a suspension. Juan Soto was no Juan Soto would match up MVP over Vlad. Um, Ramon Laureano was awesome this week as well. Jake Cronenworth was great. So the 2 Padres I traded for had great weeks against. They did what they were supposed to. Yandy Diaz had a really solid week as well. Um, on the flip side, Um, even, I was gonna say Judge was bad, but he wasn't. He was good. He just didn't homer. Um, but like James Wood was bad. Zach Neto was bad. Jose Altuve was bad. Alec Bohm was bad. So those 4 guys, if they had done something, this could have been a different week. Um, Pitching wise, it was my best pitching week in a little bit. I gotta say, um, like Mitch Keller made a really good start. I streamed a good start from Johan Oviedo. I streamed two holds from Matt Strom. Matt Boyd made a really awesome start. Framber made a great second start, but got blown up his first start. Trevor Rogers was good, but got paddocked. I, yeah, um, it all just kind of adds up to being not quite.
Yeah, I feel like in addition to talking to you on this episode, I feel like we talked about this for like 30, 40 minutes before recording. And I feel like I've just run out of lines to say to you other than that's just the way it goes. But yeah, that's just the way it goes. I will say one nice thing though. If in a world where Erik did not trade for Christopher Sanchez for literally nothing, uh, which by the way, after a little hot streak, Spencer Jones is striking out like almost 50% of the time in AAA. Yes, that's 5-0, not 1-5. Um, Ramon Laureano could easily have been the in-season trade pickup winner. He's been awesome.
Yeah, no, he's been awesome. Jonathan India has been Jonathan India, but Ramon Laureano has been excellent. And yeah, he's been he's been the guy in a world in which I had beaten Yuki, Ramon Laureano would have won my matchup against Jake and sent me to the semis. So,
Yeah, that's your fault for not beating Yuki.
or in a world where I had lost to Erik and Jake hadn't choked against whoever he played in week 22, then Ramon Laureano would have won my 3-6 matchup against EBO to send me to the semis. So, if I had been worse, if if all of the week 22 matchups went the way they should have, I would have been the six and in the semis. So, what do you do?
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
anyway, that's enough about my team. What do you say?
uh, Yeah, I guess we've been talking about your team for a while, both on and off the air, and I've been thinking about your team quite a bit throughout the day because we've been chatting. So, um, I'm done thinking about Aaron Judge for a little while.
Yep, until you trade Max Fried and Gavin Williams and a good bat for him.
I, you, would you actually do that?
Depends on how good the bat is, but
I, because you have piqued my interest, kind of.
okay. Well, we'll talk about it in a month. EBO is, I believe, the first team to ever beat Jake in the playoffs. Am I wrong about that?
Mm, Yeah, I think this was Jake's third time in the playoffs, and he won the first two.
Yeah, that's, you know, um, it's been bad luck to beat a team in the playoffs that's never lost in the playoffs before, but EBO had a really solid week pitching wise. Um, 231 ERA, 0.98 whip, nine quality starts, um, which no one has ever had nine quality starts in a playoff matchup before. That is a playoff record, officially. Um, yeah, 79 Ks, just a fantastic week for them. And Jake had a lousy pitching week and couldn't get it done in enough offensive categories to pull out the win.
Yeah. Uh,
EBO
God,
had nine
they
quality starts from nine different starters, by the way.
yeah, they might not be getting one from Imanaga. He's struggling big time in the first against Atlanta already, but um, they just had one of those just insane pitching weeks, and I mean, they have just an insane pitching staff that only got better in season after they traded for Logan Gilbert and did they make one other? They got Brandon Woodruff back. Yeah, they got Zach Allen for me. God, I traded them a couple of these guys. I don't know if I like that. Um, um, But where was I going with this? Just a great week offensively for that, or pitching wise for them. Uh, Not a great week offensively. I think it took them until Tuesday to get their first RBI.
Yes.
Uh, but yeah, it didn't really matter because their pitching was just so damn good. Um, this is going to be a really good matchup between EBO and Erik. And this was a good matchup against Jake. I think that on Saturday they kind of pulled away uh, to the point where I didn't see him really getting back into it. Um, or Jake getting back into it, but I mean he kept it close and competitive most of the week. So kudos to him. Uh, Also, if you said anything, I'd accidentally turn my volume off, so my bad.
Yeah, kudos to Jake. Yeah, the pitching was not good this week. Peyton Toll got blown up. Luis Castillo made one very good start and one very bad start. Strider's not looking good. Um, Blake
What
Snell,
happened to
yeah,
Strider? He's like it hasn't just been bad. I mean, it hasn't just been like mediocre. It's been outright like poopy. Like it's bad.
outright poopy. Yeah, I don't know if he's still hurt or something, or if he rushed back and wasn't actually ready to return or what, but yeah, he just has lost the sauce. Um, I mean, this his start this week, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 1 strikeout. Like, that's weird.
It's interesting too because he actually had a if you go by month, it was a 10K per nine in May, 1080 in June, 1099 in July. I'm not counting April because he only started one game. September so far, it's a 180K per nine. And it was a 627 in August. So the drops really come in the second half. Like he was not great, but he was okay in the first half. In the second half, he's been just atrocious. It's a 632 FIP in the second half. Like the results have been backed up by the underlying numbers. So that's just insane, man. Uh
It's weird. Yeah, I gotta wonder how Jake is thinking about him. And I imagine Jake is not the type to sell low on a guy, so I don't think he's gonna trade him in the offseason for pennies, but it's concerning for sure.
I will say so Jake traded this was a team that ended up getting Kyle Tucker from Jake, right? Yeah, from Jake, EBO did. And they also got Yamamoto from Jake. Tucker they didn't get directly. Ruthvik ended up flipping him after making that Acuna deal. But man, I mean, uh I'm really curious what Jake looks like without those two trades.
Yeah, seriously. And yeah, Yamamoto is EVO's matchup MVP this week because of that great start against the Orioles. He had 10 Ks and 8 2/3. Obviously had the no-hitter blown with the solo homer. Um, but yeah, still just a great start that really exemplified EBO's pitching week. Meanwhile, Jake's pitching week was kind of exemplified by Jose Soriano, allowing 8 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings, with a
Yeah.
very familiar 30.86 ERA for the week.
Oh God. Um, as a quick aside, that Orioles game was fucking insane. The one where they beat the Dodgers, and Yamamoto start. But yeah. I'm curious where Jake goes from here. I think he needs a little more offensive and pitching depth, maybe to backfill some of the depth that he lost in the Cooney and Strider deals a couple years ago that I don't think he's ever fully filled in, but uh, he's going to be good again. I expect him to do some backfilling and figure it out. But definitely kind of a bummer way for him to end the year.
Yeah, I agree. But he, had a slow start and was able um to get the sixth seed and have a strong season overall. And he
Well, it was weird because it was a slow start. He got really hot in the middle, and then he went ice cold the end of the year. Like I think he lost like quite a few games at the end of the season, like because he lost to Anthony in the last week, right? That's why he ended up being the sixth seed in the first place and
so
not
so yeah,
advancing
let's
it
see. He
higher.
was
He lost his last three. He lost to EBO, he lost to Anthony, and then he lost to EBO again.
yeah, he was 3-4-1 to start the year. Um then he went on a six game well, he went on a 9-game unbeaten streak. He had a tie in there against Yuki. Um um yeah, he lost his last three to end the year. That's tough. Shades of my team this year. It kind of both of our seasons kind of had the same arc in a lot of ways,
It
except
is
I win my
interesting that
rivalry.
yeah, it is interesting that the two teams that entered into, or actually Ruthvik lost back-to-back games going into the playoffs too. And you did win the end, so actually that's it's not quite the narrative I thought it was going to be, but yeah, better luck for him next year.
Yeah, I guess so. And this is, yeah, after back-to-back titles, it's 2 years in a row without a semis for Jake, since he, traded for Strider and Acuna. It's a weird league. It's a weird sport. Acuna went 0 for 16 this week.
Hey, did you see they dropped him down to like seventh in the lineup yesterday? He's batting sixth today, like below Ha-Sung Kim, who just got there and like hit his like first home run all season or something like that. Like he's been atrocious when healthy. Like what the fuck are the Braves doing with their lineups?
Question. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird lost season for the Braves. Um, Shocked that they're worse than they were last year. Because that seemed like a worst case scenario, and yet they still made the playoffs. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Jake's other Brave, Michael Harris the second, went 2 for 23 this week. And his other Brave, Matt Olson, was good. He's got a lot of Braves. Nacho Alvarez Jr., I guess, is on Jake's team, and he had a good week. So um, he has, I guess the moral of the story is Jake has a lot of Braves, both having good weeks and bad weeks. Ketel Marte, his big deadline acquisition was um, not good this week either. Um, Jordan Alvarez yeah, it's tough. There's so many moving parts on a fantasy baseball team, and your guy can just have a stinker of a week in the playoffs, um, or have a stinker of a season when you give up a lot for him, and it can cripple your team and change a lot of narratives.
That it can. It really can, and I know there's a shit ton of players that you cycle through each year, but yeah, it's same thing with you and Zach Wheeler. I mean, that injury really sank your season.
Yeah, and if Flanahan had been healthy this year, who's to say what would have happened too? But yeah, Jake's team is a full of what ifs as well. Um, as for EBO, I mentioned Yamamoto's getting matchup MVP, and I also mentioned 9 quality starts from 9 different pitchers is just insane work. I don't know how to search if that's ever happened before, but I kind of doubt it. Um, and like, yeah, Imanaga, quality start. Zach Gallen, quality start. Um, Ranger Suarez, quality start. Just kind of a dream pitching week for EBO. And that despite the offense being kind of suspect to start the week and they turned it on later, but like they ended up getting a good week from um from Brian Reynolds. and good week from Eugenio Suarez, who had been ice cold since joining the Mariners, but he had a great week this week, homering 3 times. Um, Ryan O'Hearn was decent. Not a lot. Like um, this was probably, I would say, definitely the worst hitting performance of any of the four playoff teams for sure. But um, they're in the semis.
Yeah, that they are. Um, it's going to
Um,
be a damn exciting match between Erik and EBO.
it sure is. Have we talked about PCA on the podcast since he's gone cold? Probably, right?
Yeah, I've posted some stats in the Slack just about how ass he's been, but yeah, I told you I've said this all year. I said PCA is just a slightly better version of Michael Harris. He's Michael Harris with a little more power and a little more speed.
Yeah.
This is the type of guy in like a roto league is perfect because like at the end of the year the numbers are going to balance out and be decent enough. Especially a roto league that's not an OBP league, because the OBP is sub 300. Um, and it's kind of easier to bench him when he's shit in a roto league. Whereas here, I feel like just with the nature of a head-to-head league, right? Where every individual week counts differently. If he's bad, he's just really gonna sink you. So that's just rough. Um, I hope for their sake he picks it up, but this is the reason I've never been high on him, and why I decided to kind of move off of him and trade him to you. Uh, Curious what his he is a 293 OBP right now. He still has a 115 WRC plus on the year. It's 28 homers and 32 steals. So he's still gonna go like 30-30. I guess maybe, assuming he can hit two more home runs, but I guess he's picked it up a little bit in September, but he has a 150 WRC plus in like a handful of games, but he had a 22 WRC plus in August.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Um, 76 as a whole in the second half.
Man, yeah, and he's got a 293 on base percentage, and he, wasn't playing very much this week. He, I guess he had an injury, that's why, but yeah, has certainly not been helping EBO, lately.
Nope, that he has not, but they'll have to work around that. They're obviously not cutting him, so they'll just have to work around it.
Definitely. Yeah, so those are the round one matchups. We are on to the semis. Um, let's talk about them. You versus Ruthvik and EBO versus Erik.
Yeah, let's do it. Which one do we want to start with first?
Why don't you talk about your team? I'm sure you've been kind of anxious to talk about your team for a while. It's been so long into this episode and you mostly haven't.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about your team. It's been stressing me out. But no, I'm I'm excited to get my part of the playoffs going, and I'm so two big losses last week that need to be addressed. Trey Turner, hamstring strain yesterday, so it is a grade one strain. The last time he had a grade one strain, he missed 11 games, which would maybe get him back towards the end of next week if I do advance to the finals. Realistically, with the Phillies in the playoff position they're in, I doubt that he plays next week. I think maybe he gets a couple tune-up games in the majors before the playoffs start, but I'm expecting him to be out. He has been awesome this year. I think very quietly, he's a second-ranked shortstop in the player rater. He's at 15 homers, 36 steals, which was a nice rebound after last year was a lower number only because of the hamstring injury he had. That he had last year which was a more major one. So Very excited for him. Unfortunately, he'll be gone. And then Jason Adams, like knee just buckled. So lost to Holt's guy. That was a disappointing one. But the offense, I'm feeling pretty good about still, despite the Turner injury. Led by Bryce Terang, who I mean, again, if not for Christopher Sanchez, if you want to talk about like the most impactful deadline acquisition, it might be Bryce Terang, who just out of nowhere decided to become a home run hitter. He has 17 on the season now, and 10 of them came in August. Uh, I I don't know where this came from. The underlying numbers have shown a massive improvement in the hard hit rate and barrel rates this year. I don't know if he's going to keep it up to this degree, but I am very excited for him and I expect him to play a big part. Mookie Betts and Rafael Devers are both heating up and are both looking really good recently. Excited for them. I got Churio back off the IL. And excited for him and Langford and Tatis, a young outfield trio, to all be playing together. Um, Going to push me towards a win. Christian Yelich was dealing with some back injuries last week, but he's back. Hopefully, he can kind of get back to where he's been. He is very quietly on pace, and maybe the back injury, not quite as much anymore, but he was on pace for a 30-20 season. Just insane. Josh Naylor's been great since I got him. Jeremiah Jackson has been very good for the Orioles, batting second randomly and is multi-position eligible. I think he can maybe make some noise this week.
I thought
Jordan
Jeremiah
Westburg,
Jackson was a pitcher. Who am I thinking of?
I don't know, but I get where the inclination comes from, and there is a guy, but I don't know who it is. Um, on the pitching side, it's a little trickier. So I have the good news is I have a quantity of pitchers, a big quantity, especially in the rotation. I have 11 active starting pitchers, which I don't usually do like have that many. Um, it kind of reminds me of how Erik does it, where Erik ends up rostering a lot of starters and not too many relievers, and then he could be a little more picky with which starters he uses. This is going to allow me to use a full complement of starters this week without having to stream, which is very nice. But some of these guys have been up and down this year. We'll kind of see how it goes. But I got Bieber and Bradish back towards the end of the regular season, or our regular season, and they each got a couple starts under their belt. They've both looked very good. I feel like that raises the floor and the ceiling of this rotation to go with my top three guys who've carried me most of the year: Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Robbie Ray. I have some other ancillary guys in the back there who I think are doing very well. Also, Merrill Kelly has just been insane. Merrill Kelly might actually have been my best starting pitcher down the stretch. Um, I got Aaron Nola back too, who has not pitched quite as good as Bieber and Bradish since coming back, but I'm still very excited for him. He's pitching pretty good so far against the Mets. Fingers crossed that he keeps that up. The bullpen though has been absolutely decimated. So going into the trade deadline, my relievers were Josh Hader and Felix Bautista closing with Randy Rodriguez, Jeremiah Estrada and Brian Abreu getting the holds. Four of those five guys are now either hurt or in Estrada's case, have traded him. Um, and um, uh, I did get Kate Smith, who I've been happy with, but I've really kind of had to backfill it with random guys like Tony Santillan and God, who else do you have? Like Garrett Whitlock, I've just kind of plucked out of nowhere. So hopefully that holds up. And I can do well in the bullpen categories, but I am nervous about that. But overall, I feel pretty good about this team. 18 wins. It's been an exciting season. I know I got blown out by Jake in that long 2 week matchup, but ever since then, I've not lost a game, including back-to-back nine category wins over two of the current semis participants, Erik and Ruthvik, to end the year. And since I am playing Ruthvik, I might as well say I did sweep Ruthvik this year. beat him 9-3 in my last matchup, and then I beat him 10-2 in the first week of June. Um, so it's going to be fun. Ruthvik has a really good team. I think I have a really good team. I think this is going to be a good matchup. But do you want to talk a bit about his team since I just like went on and on about mine?
Yeah, so we've talked about his team a little bit. He isn't confident in his pitching. I think he's wrong not to be confident in his pitching, but he's really not. Um, Joe Ryan made a bad start this past week, but he's most likely gonna be starting against Arizona in a few days. Um, Freddie Peralta's been great for him. Sean Manaea has been kind of bad. So he's just got all these Mets starters, and some of them have been good, some of them haven't been. Um, like Nolan McLean, Jonah Tong. He got all these guys he can just kind of call up and try to count on. Like Brandon Sproat as well. Jose Barrios has been kind of up and down. He gets the Astros this week. Um, Ryan Nelson, I mean, yeah, he's been great, and he gets the Twins this week. Um, Most likely on Saturday. Is what he's lined up for. Um, who else? I mean, Logan Webb, of course. He's pitching tonight against Arizona. Then um, he'll get a second start this week. I hate that if you search Giants, it shows the football team. Like I've never once searched for the football team. Um, they'll get the Dodgers. So that'll be a tricky second start for Logan Webb, but overall I think he's got a better pitching staff than he seems to say he does. And then hitting wise, it's kind of the same story as always, except I like his lineup maybe better than I have in years past. He had a great hitting week against me. Bo Bichette's kind of on a roll. Um, Julio's heating up, and Nick Kurtz is maybe the missing piece for this team.
God, Nick Kurtz has been so good. Yeah, I mean he really needed some offense, and Nick Kurtz has kind of really stepped in a big way. We talked about Bo Bichette earlier. Julio Rodriguez has picked it up in the second half. Nico Horner. So yeah, it's an interesting offense that had a really solid week against you last week. And I do agree about the pitching. I mean, Joe Ryan, Logan Webb, and Freddie Peralta is a damn good top three, and Chase Burns comes back this week. Um, I really like his rotation. He's got Nolan McLean starting right now, who will have a two-star week, and he's been on a tear to start his major league career. So yeah, I'm not taking this for granted. This is going to be a tough one.
hmm That is for sure. Yeah, why don't we um um why don't we look exactly at Nolan McLean's pitching right now. He's pitching well against the Phillies. He's got Logan Webb against Arizona also on Monday. We're recording this Monday. Tuesday, he's got three starts. He's got Barrios against Houston, Peralta at Texas, and Manaea against Philly. I can't imagine he's going to start Manaea against Philly. Um, Wednesday, he's got nothing. Thursday, he's got Javier at Toronto. Friday, and this is all very up in the air. Friday, he's got nothing. Saturday, he's got Joe Ryan against Arizona and Ryan Nelson against Joe Ryan. Um, and he's got Ryan and Ryan against each other. And Sunday, he's got Barrios against Baltimore, Webb against the Dodgers. So he's got, I believe that's a full set without even like adding Sproat back. Um, I imagine, like I said, he's not going to start Manaea, but he's got some flexibility for sure.
That he does. And might as well read my starts off quickly. I have Nola going against the Mets right now. Tuesday, I got Kyle Bradish against Pittsburgh, Robbie Ray against Arizona. Wednesday, Merrill Kelly against Milwaukee, Carlos Rodon against Detroit, and Shane Bieber against Houston. Thursday, got Gavin Williams at Kansas City. Friday, I got Lucas Giolito going up against the Yankees. That's not a fun one. Uh, Saturday, Max Fried at Boston, Sonny Gray at Milwaukee. That Milwaukee one's going to be tough. And then I finish the week with Aaron Nola against the Royals and Bailey Uber against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I think I like your starts better than his, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's I think it's pretty close. I think you could lean one way or another there. I think I have the offensive advantage against him. I think the pitching is closer. He definitely has the advantage in the bullpen. Um, Rotation wise, I think you could make a reasonable argument that it's relatively equal.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, we'll pick a winner here soon enough. All right, but there is a second semifinal matchup, believe it or not. Erik is playing EBO. Um, yeah, what do we have to say about this one? We've talked a lot about EBO. We haven't talked really about Erik's team going into this week. We haven't talked about Erik's team on the podcast in the last 2 months, other than to talk about Christopher Sanchez. So why don't we start with him?
Yeah, so Christopher Sanchez. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna mention him again. We talked enough about him. His other big acquisition that it's so funny because he's having an awesome year, but like we're not talking about him because we're talking about Christopher Sanchez as Cal Raleigh. Now he has slowed a little bit in the second half, although he has had a hot week. He had 3 homers and 7 RBIs over his last 5 games before today. So seems like he's kind of picking back up a little bit. He's got 53 home runs. Vinny P has finally had kind of that breakout year. He's a homer and an RBI short of 3,100. Um, Matt Shaw's been okay at second base, not great. Although he's been a little hotter recently. Jose Ramirez is awesome. Ellie's awesome. Trevor Story's had a bounce back year. Not great in the OBP department, but how many home runs and stolen bases do you think he has?
Um, I don't know, maybe 15-15.
23 and 27.
That's nuts.
Yeah, Royce Lewis is kind of disappointed a bit, but still very talented. Jacob Marcy, what a pickup that was for Erik. He started out really strong, hasn't been as strong in the last couple of weeks, but still a really talented bat with a really good StatCast page. Brent Rooker has had a typical good season. Teoscar Hernandez, not as sharp as previous years, but still pretty solid. Augustin Ramirez has had a really nice season for Erik. Obviously, Shohei. Um, so it's just a very nice offense overall for Erik. Still has some decent bench options like Jason Dominguez, Giancarlo Stanton, and Byron Buxton, who is injured. He's day to day, of course. Uh, on the pitching side,
You say Ellie's awesome like it's a given, but Ellie De La Cruz has since June 23rd hit one home run.
are you fucking serious? There's no way.
He one homer in July, zero homers in August, and zero homers so far in September.
That's insane. That's Jesus. That's this is the week he busts out and hits like 5 or 6 for Erik. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I would never bet on any Reds player to have a good week, but yeah, this is week.
The Reds have conditioned you so poorly. My goodness. You are
Listen, man, it's been a rough year. It's been an annoying year, really, is what it is.
the Reds could be in game 4 of the World Series being up 3-0 in a series, and they could be up 10-0 with 1 out left to get in the ninth, and you would still think they were going to lose the series.
I think this is a flawed premise. The Reds could not be in the World Series.
I'm the, is it a playoff game or a playoff series that the Reds haven't won in your lifetime, or is it both?
They haven't won a playoff series, they haven't won a playoff home game. They haven't done either of those in my lifetime.
Yeah, I think I sent you a picture the other day that's like people want to or teams want to play off home game like since Princess Diana died, I think it was, or I forget what it was now, but something
Hmm.
like that. It was like almost 30 years ago, and there's only three teams that haven't. The Cleveland Browns, the Utah hockey team, and the Cincinnati Reds. And the
They're
Utah,
the Mammoths now.
yeah, well, the Mammoth now, but yeah, Utah doesn't really count because they've only been around for a season.
Yep.
Uh, um. God, where were we? Ellie.
Yeah,
Eric's.
Ellie's been bad lately. But yeah, the rest of his hitting, I'll agree there. He's got a lot of guys, and he finds these guys who are good out of nowhere, like you said, like Jacob Marcy.
Yeah, I swear, every time I'm like, hey, this would be a good hitter to pick up, Eric's already had him for like 10 months. It's annoying. On the pitching side, though, he is getting Michael King back this week. There are rumblings that Cole Reagans is on his way back. He had a rehab start on Sunday, 3 innings, 7 strikeouts. I don't know if he's going to factor in this week, but if Erik advances, I could see him making a start. But otherwise, he's got Ohtani, who he is occasionally used as a pitcher. Not a ton, but he did use him for one start. I don't know if he goes deep enough for Erik to be super interested. Hunter Green, George Kirby, like big names, Tyler Glass now. Christopher Sanchez. He's just got Chris Sale back, who had a pretty solid first couple starts off the IL. Um, got some decent secondary pieces. Noah Cameron's got a lot of talent. Um, I forget if I said DeGrom, but if I didn't, DeGrom light on the bullpen, but he's got a couple quality holds guys, or more than a couple. Um, doesn't have any closers, so he's conceding saves, but definitely good on the holds part. So he's going to be a tough out.
He sure is, and yeah, the pitching is it's not like last year where everything that could have gone right has gone right, but he still has a very strong pitching staff. How worried are you about the fact that he's lost two in a row going into the playoffs?
None at all. It's Erik. Like,
Yeah.
like, could he have a bad week? Sure. But anybody could. I don't. No, I don't see a reason. Um,
Well,
his
I think
team,
that's yeah.
his team, and I guess I could say it about my team too. Did not play super great last week. I know we weren't playing anybody or really making moves, but it wasn't the best. So
Yeah, no, yeah, that's fair. Um, but yes, so that's yeah, that's kind of what we're feeling about Erik. As far as pitching goes, he's got Tyler Glasnow at home against the Rockies tonight. He's got Jose Quintana against Texas as well. Um, Tuesday, he's got George Kirby against St. Louis, Noah Cameron at Cleveland, and Michael King, like you mentioned, against Cincinnati. So that's five good matchups off the bat. Um, Christopher Sanchez against the Mets, Chris Sale against the Cubs. Two good pitchers, two less good matchups there. No one on Thursday, but he's already at seven starts. Um, Friday, he's got DeGrom at the Mets, and if he wants to, he's got Ohtani at San Francisco. Um, Saturday, he has Hunter Green at Ath, and Sunday, he has Quintana against St. Louis, Kirby against the Angels, Noah Cameron against the Phillies, and Michael King again at home against the Rockies. So that's like 14 starts right there. Um, I doubt he uses Ohtani, but then at the same time, like, there's nothing really not to like um, uh, in his starts here. That is um, some good matchups.
yeah, I think it depends if he thinks he needs to hitting or to pitching more. I think that's what it really comes down to.
I mean, EBO. EBO pitched really well and did not hit. So if you can pitch, if you're expecting EBO to be bad at hitting, then that's a good sign for Erik because if he can just do just enough hitting wise, I expect good things about his pitching this week.
Agreed. Yeah.
And as for EBO, we talked about them quite a bit earlier. They, as far as starting pitchers, Shota Imanaga got is not pitching very well currently as we speak on Monday. Tuesday, let's look at their starts. They've got um, Zach Gallen at San Francisco and Ranger Suarez at home against the Mets. Wednesday, they have Logan Gilbert at home against St. Louis. Thursday, they've got Sandy Alcantara against Washington and Jesus Luzardo against the Mets. I believe that's six starts in total. Friday, that they got Brandon Woodruff against St. Louis, Tarek Skubal against Miami, and Pablo Lopez against Arizona. Saturday, they've got Yamamoto at San Francisco and Chris Bassett against Baltimore. And Sunday, for their 12th start, they've got Imanaga against Tampa. So they got some good matchups as well. Maybe not quite as good as Eric's, but I um there's definitely some room um or definitely a lot to like with who they're going up against this week.
I will say both teams have a lot of matchup-proof pitchers where like pitchers who I don't really care who they're going up against. I think that like they're gonna pitch well regardless. So I'm not too worried.
No, that's certainly fair, but like you got to be happy that
Like Tyler Glasnow goes up against the Rockies. Sure, yeah. Like I'm
exactly that Woodruff goes against the Cardinals.
right. Exactly. Exactly. No, no. I think you hit the nail on the head. Uh,
Um yeah.
yeah. So
Hitting wise they got good hitters. They don't currently have a no, I'm looking at the wrong. Yeah, they um are maybe a little thin. Like they're starting Austin Martin, they're starting Dalen Lyle, um, Dylan Cruz, who has homered today, Colt Keith. So this is not the deepest of playoff lineups, um, but nonetheless, nonetheless their top guys are strong.
yeah, it's a top-heavy offense. If PCA could pick it up, that'd be very nice for them. Kyle Tucker's day to day. He's out again with a calf injury, fifth straight start. So you have to wonder at some point if he's gonna land on the IL. That's definitely one of their best hitters. Gunnar Henderson's picked it up a bit, but it's still like not really the numbers you would expect from him. How many homers and stolen bases do you think he has?
Ooh, right. I don't know. Give it to me.
He missed 6 games at the beginning of the year, but has otherwise been healthy. He has 16 home runs and 21 steals. And yeah, like
Not good.
37 a year before homers. The steals are about the same, but there's been a major power outage for him this year. I definitely give Erik the advantage on the hitting side. I think rotations wise, they're pretty equivalent. Maybe I give a slight edge to EBO just because he's not dealing with as many. They're not dealing with as many guys who have dealt with injuries this year. Um, Bullpen wise, EBO definitely on the closer front, although they did lose Clase. And then on the holds front, maybe Erik. I don't know. Kind of probably Erik. Um, it's going to be a good one.
Probably it's tough.
Yeah, yeah. It's you can go either way. I think this matchup uh is going to be a coin flip. Like I I don't know which way to pick. It's tough.
Well, speaking of don't know which way to pick, are you ready to pick them?
I am. That's why I said that.
Any clue who's currently winning, or do we want to just, I think you gotta get it for next week, our finals preview.
Get
I
what?
think that's a get the pick 'em straight for next week's final at the very least. If not, if you don't have it yet.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I will. I will. Yeah. I don't have it this. I'm an asshole, I know.
Cool.
But
Um, but yes, as we've done for the last few years, for the first round of the playoffs and for the first round in semis, we pick the winner and we also pick the score for a bonus point. And then the finals, we pick each category one by one. Um, let's let's do it. I don't know. Do you want to pick a certain matchup first?
I think last week you picked your matchup either.
Either first or second, we're about to say.
I think you picked your matchup last.
Okay.
I'll pick my matchup last, and I'll pick the EBO Cam match or the EBO not Cam EBO Eric matchup first. So, I'll pick first and fourth. You pick second and third. But before we do that, let's go over how we fared in the first round pick 'em. Uh,
Hey, yeah, I did well in that.
You did. Well, we both picked EBO to win. I said 7-4-1. You said 8-3-1. It ended up being right in the middle at 8-4. And then I picked you to win 7-4-1. You picked Ruthvik to win 6-5-1. He ended up winning 6-3-3. So congratulations to you there. And all right, I will pick EBO versus Eric first. I am going to say Eric 6-5-1.
Okay, I think it's tricky. I'm looking through. I will pick Eric 732.
Ooh, picking two tie categories. Okay.
Two times.
All right.
And I guess I'm picking your matchup before you do.
Yes.
I know you're worried um, um, being down Trey Turner, but I think you've got an 8-4 win in you.
Interesting. I hmm. I'm gonna pick Ruthvik to win 6-5-1.
Really, just like I did last week.
I and I just I yeah. I'm feeling good about my team, but you know what? It's a win-win. Either I win and I won't give a damn who I picked in Naruto or not Naruto in the pick'em, or I lose and this is my consolation prize. So
Nice consolation.
yes, a very nice consolation. Not one that's gonna make me want to break my computer at all. I will have a bigger crash out than I had in Big Ballers yesterday.
You got to crash out and big. I missed it, but
You missed it, and I ain't gonna forget that it ever happened.
you were having a not a crash out, but you were having an interesting time in Gallardo Cup chat today.
Oh, that Anthony Volpe. I mean, look, man, how else do we drive engagement?
Yeah, I feel like you purposely do not want to drive engagement or you have been trying not to avoid engagement in Gallardo Club, but
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun now, just trolling the shit out of people. I do believe that Anthony Volpe is bad and he should be cut in that league. If Trent Grisham's on waivers, then there's no reason Volpe should be rostered. But I digress.
eh, I can't care about that. Any other questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, predictions, hot takes about the semis week we have upcoming? I used to love semis week.
I still think, and obviously this is now my eighth straight year out of eight in the semis, so I'm biased. Uh, but I love semis week. I think it's the most fun week, and I think it's the same way too. Like I think in football, the best week of football is not the conference championship and not the Super Bowl, but I think it's always the divisional round. You have multiple games. These are all really high quality teams. And it's just a lot of fun because it goes on all weekend. That's how I feel about the semis, except, it's obviously two matchups. It's not like a whole weekend of matchups, but like, and especially because there's always more than two teams I feel like who are good in a given year and are capable of winning it all. So, it's my favorite week. Hasn't been my favorite week the last few years. I guess I did win one, but I've been doing a decent amount of losing lately. I guess I'm 3-5 all time in semis matchups, so which feels a little low. So hopefully I can get that. Or sorry, 3-4. I'd like to make that 4-4 this year. So get back to 500. That means I would have been in half of the um, finals in league history. It would be nice if I could
You
make
know,
it.
that's not a bad number.
No, it really isn't. If I can make it, but uh,
That's crazy. I've been a top four seed in 6 of 8 seasons, and I have certainly not made 6 semis.
yeah. Well, next year's your year, baby.
Um,
Okay,
all right. Are we done
let
here?
me. I'll ask you one more question, and then we'll get off. What are the odds of you win a championship in the next 5 years? Do you think?
I mean, reasonably, let's say I got a 15% chance each individual year going into the year. That seems not too, let's even call it 20% each individual year. That seems reasonable, right?
Let's say some, yeah, 15, 20. I think are both pretty reasonable numbers.
All right, let's say I got a 20% chance to win the league each year. That means I have, doing math, a 67% chance of winning the league one of the next 5 years. Mm,
Okay,
What do you,
you okay? So you said a 67% chance of winning the league in one
the
of the.
math, based some napkin math says I've got about a 67% chance to win one of the next five if we're assuming that like 20% going to the year is a reasonable number.
I don't know. Um, I hope so. I think, and as much as I hate to say this, I think it would be good for the league if you won one of these years. I think it would probably be a good thing. Uh,
You actually think so?
I think it's good to get some fresh blood winning. I do I okay, so this is gonna sound really weird. Do I mind Erik winning? Like I hate it, but like Erik doesn't say a word about it. He just quietly wins and he does his thing. So I don't hate it. I think people would hate if I win it more because I'd be obnoxious about it, right? Uh, because I'm already obnoxious about everything. I mean, that's we just know that, right? But like if Erik,
What?
what?
No way. You're obnoxious about this.
Um, but if Erik were to like, I'd obviously prefer Erik not to just keep winning it over and over and over again. Jake's already won two. I don't really want to see him win a third. Um, so it would be better if anybody else wins. Now, well, I think it would be better for the league if Daniel won before you. Absolutely. But I think for what I could realistically get, I think you winning would be a good thing.
I wonder how annoying I would be.
I-
I'd
All
be
I'm
somewhere
saying
between you and Eric.
I would feel a lot better if I won a second championship before you won your first.
I mean, that wouldn't be surprising.
Would it?
I wouldn't be shocked to see you win another championship before I won one.
Yeah, it's hard to win a championship, man. I thought after
That
20 I'd have
is,
another one by now, but I don't.
yeah, I mean, you've had your close calls. We all have, except for Eric. He's never had a close call. He's just been clinical.
He's insane. I mean, I have no reason to believe he's not going to win his fifth this year.
Yeah. No, I agree. But yes, any last words?
No, no, that was it. We're good.
Well, in that case, we will talk to you all after the semis.
Yeah.
This podcast is good.